Skaven versus Bretonia. Trains Codex and Strat Game. Strat Game taking a slightly old school style of the build versus Skaven back when Grail Knights were like chariots and you just couldn't stop them. Fae Enchantress for healing up your Grail Knights, let the Grail Knights carry. And then he's taking Pegasus Knights, which is kind of the new Bretonian flavor. I'm not fully sold on it, but I've seen some decent games with it. Mostly versus demons, the flying anti-large. Not as much armor piercing. Is generally good versus demons, but haven't been completely convinced that is the way. Anyway, I think when I'm fighting Skaven, I still prefer Alberic with his various leadership debuffs. And just being a big spooky terror guy. So we have triple Pegasus Knight in the Vanguard already moving around the flanks. Double Knight of the Realm. Double Grail Knight as well. Fae Enchantress with just Regrowth and her Chalice of Potions. And then a just Tithe of Peasants. Tithe? Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave. Neo side for this game we have Icket Claw. Cleansing Ruin, Howling Warp Gale for him with unlimited power for Winds of Magic generation. Gutter Runners and Night Runners on each flank. A bunch of Rat Ogres who are always very good versus Bretonia. Then we have 2 Poisonwind Globadiers and a Dwarf Thing Menace with some Storm Vermin Halberds in the back. Dwarf Thing Menace, it's kind of a... it's a bit of a deal with the Devil versus Bretonia because they do good damage versus Cavalry and Armor under Cavalry, which makes it easier for other things to help them out. But also armor-piercing Cavalry like Hippogriff Knights or Grail Knights do well versus them, and even anti-large cavalry without much armor piercing does fine versus them. So it's like both sides. The Dwarf Thing Mess is going to take a lot of damage, but so will your Knights. First Cleansing Ruin is out, and actually the Fae Enchantress is just on foot, which only gives her 40% resistance to Cleansing Ruin. On her Unicorn, I think she has like somewhere around 80% spell resistance. So, not as tanky as she otherwise might be, and she didn't actually leave any Knights back to protect her. Oh, never mind, there's a Grail Knight coming, I was going to say. She is at the mercy of Icket Claw, who immediately terror rots off the peasants, but needs to be careful as the Grail Knights are coming. Lance is couched, boys. Lance is couched. There they are. The charge has started, and Icket is running for it. A rear charge on a chariot really isn't going to do that much damage, but still would do some if the Dwarf Thing Menace wasn't nearby. Already coming to aid Icket Claw. There they go. The various chariots of Clan Scryer are trying to push back the Grail Knights by a little bit of space. So they're doing just fine. On the far side, Knights of the Realm charge into Rat Ogres, and while the Rat Ogres is a great trade, they're also fighting on top of Halberds, and they're getting nuked by globes, so double ooey owie happening there, though the Rat Ogres might just route from the second Knight of the Realm charge. And meanwhile, elsewhere, Night Runners and Gutter Runners running away from Pegasus Knights, who have chased them down. Where's that second Grail Knight? There they are. They're trying to join the fight on the far side. We did lose a Knight of the Realm here, shattered. Another Knight of the Realm's going to route any second now. But it continues to chase down the Fae Enchantress, just being annoying to her. And this Grail Knight, ooh, took a nasty bit from the globes while we weren't looking. See, the Doom Flares also took a lot of damage, though. What I was talking about earlier. That thing I was mentioning. Here come the Grail Knights. Poisonwind Globes, not as good versus infantry anymore after several patches of changes. But they are exceedingly OP versus cavalry. And they're still fine versus infantry. They just don't delete infantry in one shot anymore. But they do crazy damage to Cav. It just seems like the Skaven are betting on here as these Rat Ogres are going to get trashed on by the Grail Knights. But in comes in their Globe Volley. Still good damage. Hasn't gotten a real solid hit on because actually, believe it or not, there's way more damage they can do to Cav. But Icket is still chasing down the Fae Enchantress. Balance of power. Tipping in the Skaven's favor by quite a fair bit. As Pegasus Knights are routing away. We do have some Grail Knights coming back with a regrowth to heal them up. Oh, wow. Those were the super dead Grail Knights. Because those are the regular Grail Knights over there. So these ones are the ones that left with, like, no HP. And they're back just fine. Though, that means the Fae Enchantress is not getting a regrowth. She is getting Cleansing Ruin and chased down by Icket Claw, who is getting occasional damage in. In comes the Grail Knights. Fae Enchantress takes a whole bunch of damage. Is going to route any second now. Does Terror Route as the Grail Knights close in around Icket. Once again, Icket might be in danger. The Fae Enchantress can heal. He cannot. He's now surrounded by Knights. Elsewhere on the battlefield, there is things going on. I've just been busy because there's a lot of important things happening right here. As the Fae Enchantress somehow rallies with less than 600 HP and 3 leadership and getting run over by Icket Claw. She hasn't actually routed yet. The Pegasus Knights did have to suicide for the Poisonwind Globe to take one of them out. So there's one Poisonwind Globe. There's still a bunch of Storm Vermin Halberds running around. I see one is healthy. I don't know where the other one is. We do have some Gutter Runners and Night Runners here and there, but the Fae Enchantress somehow survives this ordeal with Ikit Claw. And now Ikit is on the losing end. He has taken way more damage than he bargained for, and the Grail Knights are now going to escort him away from the Fae Enchantress, offering him a weird pact of honor where it's like, hey, if you agree to leave the Fae Enchantress alone, we'll let you get to safety. They do walk with him all the way over to safety as the Fae Enchantress has rallied, throws a regrowth on herself. It is overcast. It did not hurt her in the overcast. Now, Bretonnia gets back onto the Poisonwind Globes, who are trying to throw guard mode on and get good shots onto the Grail Knights, which they do, but they are still getting attacked in the back. Dwarf Thing Menace, final 5 models think about rejoining the fight versus Pegasus Knights. Decide against it, instead go to rear charge some peasants, maybe help rout them away as the Fae Enchantress heals herself up. Now, Bretonnia is ahead on the balance of power. For what was looking so bad earlier, we still have a healthy Pegasus Knight. We have Grail Knights who can still receive a decent amount of healing. Oh, and those Grail Knights can get a ton of healing. They have 36 out of 48 models. They're just running down globes for now. Night Runners, Gutter Runners. Gutter Runners with no ammunition are trying to chase them down, and that is a big who cares. But this is a problem. Fae Enchantress getting run over by chariots that are much, much faster than her, and she is infantry size, so all these chariots have bonuses versus her to try and take her down. Grail Knights will need to swoop over once again, but this time there are Storm Vermin Halberds between them and their fair lady that they try and protect. The Fae Enchantress taking a lot of damage, terror routing yet again. Looks like the Grail Knights are going after the Poisonwind Globes that are a big threat to them, and while that is a big threat, and while that is fair, Fae Enchantress is still in a lot of danger, does still need some help. As the Dwarf Thing Menace is actually just going to get ground down by peasants and the Fae Enchantress's Mortis Engine. So did one of the Storm Vermin Halberds, to be honest. They've taken a lot of damage. Another Flensing Ruin is out onto the Fae Enchantress. No way she survives this one, right? As it is Overcast. The Overcast actually does a lot of damage to Ikit Claw. And the Fae Enchantress chucks out a Chalice of Potions just in desperation as she knows she's going to be routing soon, wants to clear out some of these Halberds, and maybe give her peasants a good time to fight. Does it go north? Nah, it goes left, but still. Did okay. Fae looks like she might shatter any second now. The Grail Knights and Pegasus Knights have taken out the last of the globes. Not a lot of issues for them on that front. Meanwhile, Pegasus Knights charge unbraced Storm Vermin Halberds. Get a little bit of damage, but still, they are going to be fighting Halberds and not enjoying it as they start to run away. But several Pegasus Knights get left behind as sacrifices. Grail Knight, Pegasus Knight still running around. If they can kill Ikit, the Bretonians still have a shot. They're actually up on the balance of power. So yeah, if they can kill Ikit, they're chilling. These Grail Knights going to charge unbraced Halberds, and they have much better charge damage and armor piercing and stuff, so they actually get the Storm Vermin to rout, and the Storm Vermin routing should take the Night Runners with them. But Ikit remains, and as long as Ikit is alive, the Skaven leadership will hold. Looks like Pegasus Knights are after him, but a Howling Warp Gale makes sure that they can't pursue him for too much longer. As some Grail Knights who are very injured get escorted off the field, and Ikit's going to go right beneath these Pegasus Knights. Ballsy, since their net wears off in 2 seconds, and they can just pounce right on top of you, but looks like you can also terror out them as soon as they get into melee combat. Charge should keep them alive for just a second. Their anti-large will do well versus Ikit. He only has 36 melee defense, so with their 36 melee attack plus bonus for sludge, they should be fine. But again, that terror should get rid of them. There they go. And Ikit is alive for now. Only 8 leadership, and if he had routed there, they actually could have easily taken him off the battlefield. Pegasus Knights diving once again onto Gutter Runners. Those Skaven Spears are nearby and being a bit of a nuisance. Grail Knights running out to deal with Ikit as well. There is a full health Storm Vermin. But effective cycle charging could take them down if Ikit is dead. The Pegasus Knight we saw earlier was just routed off the map. And now the Grail Knights try their hand at taking down Ikit. Gutter Runners try and get in the way. They do briefly. And then they don't. Ikit's rolling away from the Knights. He is slightly faster, but that's only because the Gutter Runner's Snare Net and Poison is affecting them. But now they've caught him for good. Whoops, double-clicked, and that zooms in. My bad. Grail Knight should be able to rout him as he's going to Flensing Ruin them. Is it Overcast or Undercast? It is Undercast. Just a little bit of free damage. And once again, Chariot models in Warhammer being impossible to kill if they are moving. Grail Knight's just walking with them. I really wish CA would either fix Chariots or stop having carry level threats take Chariots. Grail Knights charge the unbraced Storm Vermin Halberds and get a lot of damage out before backing off. Flensing Ruin still ticking down, but they still actually have a good amount of models. I don't think that was an objectively bad play. One thing I am wondering about is what these Pegasus Knights are doing. I don't know why these healthier Pegasus Knights are still fucking around when, like, the entire battle that matters is here. You gotta kill Ikit, you gotta kill the Storm Vermin. Grail Knights trying to charge back in. Once again, unbraced Storm Vermin and Halberds do take a lot of damage on the charge, but now the Grail Knights are going to take a counter hit. And they even have Lance formation, lowering their melee defense even further. They take a ton of damage. They get pushed off, and the Skaven have reclaimed the balance of power lead for the first time in a long while. Ikit Claw not dying due to either jank or good play, or both, is a huge problem. It will probably cost Bretonnia this game. Pegasus Knights look like they're going to go for one final Hail Mary and dive onto Ikit before his Storm Vermin get in the way. But being a flying unit, they do overshoot, and then Howling Warp Gale nets them in place. Some of them are on the ground, some aren't. So the Pegasus Knights that are on the ground are just going to get stabbed quite a lot. And they even tear out away from Ikit. That might cause army losses. As far as the game knows, the only thing that's still in the fight is that Pegasus Knight that's almost routing, and then a Peasant Longspear in the distance. Pegasus Knights get over their terror route, and once again, they are going all in onto Ikit, as their only hope to win this game is to try and kill him off. Actually get about 200 damage value down. 1 leadership for the Claw. But for some reason, these Pegasus Knights route for, like, literally no reason in the sky, and then their brethren also route, and that is GG. That was a weird game. Ugh. Chariots should be easily targetable, CA. Fix it. Storm Vermin did okay. Globes did fantastically. Gutter Runners did very well. Rat Ogres mostly got mulched. That's that for strat game. The Enchantment's alright. For being on foot, you don't expect crazy value out of her. Knights of the Realm got cooked. Pegasus Knights did okay. Grail Knights did pretty well. GG. Roar. Subscribe, yes, yes.